Milo was a small brown dog with floppy ears and a tail that wagged even when he was asleep. He loved many things, chasing leaves, digging holes, and naps in sunny spots, but there was one thing that often confused him: people. Sometimes Milo's human Emma smiled, but her eyes looked cloudy. Other times she spoke cheerfully, but her shoulders drooped like wilted flowers. Milo didn't understand why the sounds people made didn't always match how they felt inside. One afternoon, while lying under the kitchen table, Milo noticed something strange. When Emma laughed, the air around her seemed to glow a warm yellow. When she was sad, the glow turned soft blue. When she was angry, sharp red sparks flickered like tiny fireworks. Milo blinked. The colors didn't go away. From that day on, Milo began to see colors around everyone: swirls, sparkles, and shades that danced and shifted with their feelings. Excitement shimmered like orange bubbles. Fear trembled in pale gray wisps. Love glowed pink and steady, like a heartbeat. At first, Milo wasn't sure what to do with this new skill, but soon chances appeared. When Emma came home from school one day, she tossed her backpack down and sat quietly on the couch. Her mouth smiled, but the air around her was deep blue. Milo hopped up beside her, gently rested his head on her knee, and stayed very still. Emma wrapped her arms around him and whispered, "Thanks, Milo. I had a hard day." Another time, Milo noticed red sparks around Emma's little brother, Leo, as he stomped around the living room. Instead of barking or hiding, Milo brought Leo his favorite squeaky toy. Leo paused, then laughed, and the red sparks faded into sunny yellow. Soon, Milo was helping everyone. He sat close to Grandma when her glow dimmed. He danced happily when Dad's excitement burst into bright orange. He stayed calm and quiet when neighbors felt nervous. Without knowing the right words, Milo always knew the right thing to do. One evening, Emma hugged Milo tightly and said, "You always understand me, don't you?" Milo wagged his tail. He couldn't read books or signs, but Milo had learned something just as important: how to read hearts. And every day, with a nudge, a cuddle, or a wagging tail, he used that gift to make the world a little warmer, one feeling at a time.
Milo had been with Emma long enough to know the difference between her smiles. There was the wide, easy smile she wore when the sun was out and life felt simple. Milo noticed that one most of all. On one rainy afternoon, Emma came home and dropped her bag by the door. She didn't turn on the lights, she didn't hum. She just sat on the couch and stared at nothing. Milo padded over, his brown fur still damp from outside, and sat in front of her. He studied her face the way he always did, ears tilted, head slightly turned. Her shoulders were tight, her breathing was shallow. Milo rested his chin on her knee. When she didn't respond, he gently leaned his whole weight against her, warm and steady. Emma's hand moved at last, finding his fur. "It shook at first. That bad, huh?" she whispered, though Milo hadn't told her anything. He never needed to. Milo stood up, walked to the window, and nudged the leash with his nose. Emma almost laughed, almost. But she stood up anyway. Outside, the rain was light and the world felt quieter. Milo walked slowly, matching Emma's pace, stopping whenever her steps slowed. At the park, Emma sat on a bench and Milo pressed against her leg again, his heartbeat calm and strong. That was Milo's gift. He didn't fix problems. He didn't offer advice. He stayed. By the time they walked home, Emma's shoulders were lower. Her breathing was softer. When she knelt and wrapped her arms around Milo's neck, she finally cried. Milo didn't move. Later that night, as Emma fell asleep, Milo curled beside the bed, one eye open, listening to the rhythm of her breathing until it evened out. Only then did he rest. Because loving Emma wasn't something Milo did. It was something he understood. Emma sat on the couch, her shoulders slumped, a faint gray aura of sadness clinging to her like a shadow. Milo, her loyal dog, watched her from the floor, his head tilted with concern. A memory flickered to life. The scene shifted to an animal shelter years ago. A younger Emma's eyes landed on a small, shivering puppy huddled in the corner of his kennel. It was Milo. That first night at home, the tiny puppy whimpered, lost and scared in the strange new place. Emma, sensing his fear, sat on the floor beside his bed and began to read a storybook aloud, her voice a soft, steady rhythm in the quiet room. Gradually, lulled by her gentle voice, puppy Milo's whimpers subsided. He crept closer, resting his head on her leg, and drifted off to sleep, finally feeling safe. As he slept, he dreamed of running through a vast sun-drenched field, free and joyful. The next morning, sunlight streamed into the room. Milo, now a happy puppy, woke up and padded over to Emma, who had fallen asleep on the floor. He licked her cheek and she awoke with a laugh, pulling him into a tight hug. Back in the present, the warmth of that memory sparked an idea in Milo. He trotted over to his toy basket and returned with his favorite squeaky carrot. He gently dropped the toy into Emma's lap. As she looked down at the offering, her gray aura melted away, replaced by a warm, sunny yellow. She hugged him tightly, her heart filled with gratitude for his silent, unwavering comfort. Amina learned the sound of loneliness before she learned to code. It was a low, constant hum that followed her through the cramped apartment where sirens were a nightly lullaby. She was born in a city of millions where opportunities felt a world away, and feeling invisible was something people wore like an old, familiar coat. Her mother died when Amina was 6. Her father, broken by grief and the city's demands, worked 2 jobs, leaving her in the care of the world alone. She navigated crowded subways and concrete playgrounds, seeing other kids her age with smartphones and futures that seemed pre-installed. Amina's hope was a flickering signal in a place with no connection. At night, in the quiet of the public library, she would practice on a keyboard with worn-out letters, QWERTY. People told her to be realistic. "This city chews people up," they said, "accept your place." But Amina carried a quiet defiance inside her, something unspoken yet unbreakable. She believed, without knowing why, that her story was not meant to end in a forgotten burrow. One afternoon, in the corner of the library, she discovered a portal, a slow, outdated computer with an internet connection. The screen flickered, but to Amina it was treasure. She stayed until closing, devouring free articles and online tutorials, sounding out words like algorithm and Python. Learning became her refuge. A librarian named Mr. Evans noticed her there every day. Instead of telling her time was up, he asked her what she was learning. When he saw her passion, he began guiding her, pointing her to free courses and scholarships. He didn't give her money. He gave her a roadmap. Amina learned on borrowed bandwidth and late-night study sessions. She failed often. She felt overwhelmed. But she never logged off. Years passed. The girl who once felt invisible now earned a scholarship to university. The campus was sleek, the students were confident, and she felt small again. But this time she knew something important. She had survived worse. She studied relentlessly. She worked weekends. She missed home, but she refused to miss her chance. After graduation, Amina struggled to find work. Rejections piled up. Old doubts whispered, maybe they were right. But she remembered the girls staring at a flickering screen, and she kept going. Eventually, she started small, volunteering to teach kids in her old neighborhood how to code. Her classes grew. She founded a nonprofit. Donors noticed. Her name began to travel farther than she ever had on the subway. Years later, Amina stood on a stage receiving an award for her work in tech education. Cameras flashed, but what moved her most was the memory. She remembered loneliness. She remembered feeling behind. She remembered being unseen, and she knew that her struggle had not been meaningless. Amina returned to her old library and built a state-of-the-art computer lab where children learned without limits, without fees, without doubt. She told them stories, not of genius, but of perseverance. "I did not become strong because life was easy," she told them. "I became strong because I refused to let my circumstances decide who I would be." And in the quiet clicks of keyboards and the bright glow on children's faces, Amina finally understood. She had not escaped her past. She had reprogrammed it. Success did not erase Amina's memories. It only changed the way she carried them. She now worked in a glass building with bright windows and quiet confidence. People listened when she spoke. They called her resilient, inspiring, even lucky. Amina nodded politely, though she knew luck had very little to do with it. Some mornings, she still woke up before dawn, her body remembering years of stress. She still double-checked her bank balance, still packed her own lunch out of habit. Success had not made her careless, it had made her aware. One afternoon, Amina was invited to speak at a school not far from where she had grown up. As she walked through the hallways, she saw herself everywhere. A girl sitting alone with her head down, a boy pretending not to care, a teacher moving too fast to notice. When Amina stood at the front of the room, she didn't talk about awards or titles. She spoke about nights when she wanted to quit, about failing and trying again, about learning to believe in herself before the world did. After the talk, a quiet girl waited until everyone else had left. "I'm not strong like you," the girl said softly. Amina knelt so they were eye to eye. "You don't have to be yet," she replied. "You just have to stay." That evening, as Amina walked home, the city felt different. Not smaller, not larger. just connected. Her success finally made sense, not as a destination, but as a bridge. And Amina understood something new. Her suffering had taught her how to climb. Her success had taught her how to reach back. Amina met Samira on a Wednesday afternoon. Samira was 17, intelligent, and tired in a way that had nothing to do with sleep. She came from a home filled with noise and expectation, where her dreams were considered unnecessary luxuries. When Amina first spoke to her, Samira barely made eye contact. "I'm not bad at school," Samira said quickly, as if defending herself. "I just fall behind." Amina heard the words behind the words. She remembered saying something similar once. They began meeting every week at a small library near the bus station. Amina never rushed Samira. She didn't overwhelm her with advice. Instead, she asked simple questions. What scares you? What do you avoid? What do you love but don't say out loud? At first, Samira's answers were short, but slowly they grew. One evening, Samira admitted she wanted to study engineering but was afraid of failing and of succeeding. "If I fail, I prove everyone right," Samira whispered. "If I succeed, I leave people behind." Amina was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I carried that fear for years. But here's the truth no one told me. You are not responsible for making yourself smaller to keep others comfortable." Samira cried, not loudly, just enough. Mentoring Samira reminded Amina of something she had almost forgotten, how fragile courage is when it first appears. So Amina protected it. She helped Samira organize her studies. She taught her how to ask for help without shame. She showed her how failure could be a teacher, not a verdict. Months later, Samira was accepted into a competitive program. She ran to Amina breathless. "I did it," she said. "Because you believed in me." Amina smiled, but she corrected her gently. "No," she said. "You did it because you learned to believe in yourself. I just stood next to you while you practiced." As they hugged, Amina felt a quiet peace settle in her chest. This was the kind of success she had been searching for all along. Years later, Samira was surrounded by blueprints and equations. She had found her footing in the competitive world of engineering. One afternoon in the university workshop, she noticed a first-year student named Leo. He was brilliant, but worked alone, his shoulders perpetually hunched against the world. He reminded her so much of herself. Samira felt a pang of doubt. Who was she to help? But then she remembered Amina's voice. "I just stood next to you while you practiced." She approached him cautiously. "That's a complex design," she said. "Are you stuck?" Leo flinched. "I'm fine," he muttered. Samira just said, "I got stuck on that same problem last year. I was so afraid of asking for help I almost gave up." That got his attention. They started talking, and Samira learned he felt guilty for succeeding so far from home. She listened, and then she shared the words that had once saved her. "It's not your job to shrink so others feel big," she told him. "It just shows them what's possible." Later that week, Samira called Amina, her voice thick with emotion. "I get it now," she said. "Reaching back? It's not a duty, it's the reward." Amina, on the other end of the line, smiled. The bridge she had built was now one others could walk across. Amina had taught others how to climb, but she hadn't yet taught herself how to rest. The habits of survival still clung to her. The late nights at the office, the constant feeling that she had to keep running. One evening, she stumbled upon a small bookstore, its windows glowing with a soft, warm light. Inside, the owner, an older man named Elias, greeted her with a quiet smile. He didn't know her name or her story. He simply asked, "What kind of stories do you like to get lost in?" For the first time in years, someone saw Amina, not her success. She started visiting the bookstore regularly. She left work on time. She learned to enjoy the stillness. She found that peace wasn't a prize to be won at the end of a long struggle. It was a quiet room she could walk into at any time. One afternoon, sitting with Elias, she realized she hadn't checked her work emails all day. She felt no anxiety, only a gentle calm. Love, she discovered, wasn't just a connection to another person. It was the quiet, steady love for the life you have right now. Her journey wasn't about reaching a destination anymore. It was about finally coming home to herself. The final chapter of Amina's story was not written by her, but for her. Years passed and she found a quiet peace. One afternoon, she sat in the back of a university lecture hall. The speaker was Maya, the quiet girl from the school hallways, now a renowned innovator. Amina watched, a face in the crowd, as the girl she once comforted commanded the stage. After the lecture, a young student approached Maya head down. "I'm not brave like you," the student said. Amina's heart stilled. She watched as Maya knelt, meeting the student's gaze. "You don't have to be yet," Maya said, her voice a perfect echo of a memory. "You just have to stay." In that moment, the circle was complete. Amina saw that her life was not a single climb, but a ladder she had helped build. Her suffering taught her to climb. Her success taught her to reach back. And her legacy was this: a quiet, unbreakable chain of hands, each one pulling the next one up.